Tell me if this sound familiar. You pre-aiming a door for like 3 days and nobody show up, but the second you look away, some dude with no type of lineup pop out the cut and completely route or smoke you off your street. If that's you, then you done clicked on the right video, cause I'ma teach and show you the exact tricks I used to prevent this back in the day when I used to struggle with Call of Duty timing. Now I want you to think about that sweat that recently dropped you off. Just know by the end of this video, you gonna be levels better than him. Now look, the common reason why this happened is not just because you unlucky or the dude who ran around the corner just so happened to be hacking, even though sometimes that's what it really be. But it's because you've been sitting there waiting too long in the first place. See, that's the first thing you need to do. You need to stop sitting and pre-aiming for that long sucky time. Now listen, man, I know you might be a little bit scared to move, but you just gotta move sometimes. That's what's gonna stop all of this. Cause look at it like this. The longer you sit there and wait, when you actually move and say he come running around that corner full speed ready to smoke you up, you gonna be so mad because he's like, I was sitting there for about 2 hours and you ain't show up, and you gonna show up when I move. The thing is, we tend to think like, okay, if I just sit here and wait, he not killing me when he come around that corner. And this immediately put our brain into a loop. Because let's say you sit there for 5 minutes and then you start thinking, okay, I'm finna move. And then you like, hold on, wait. If I move, he could come out the corner right now. Let me wait a little bit longer. Wait another 5 seconds. He still ain't show up. You're like, all right, bro, I gotta move. But he might come around the corner now when I move. Another 5 seconds. Then you finally decide you gonna man up and move. And that's when he gets you. Now you sitting here screaming at the game wondering how this happened. This would have never occurred if you simply would just have moved after the first 5 seconds. So basically what I'm saying is you need to pre-aim for like 3 seconds at most and move. Because that's the best way you can fully prevent that little loop going in your mind every time you get to pre-aim in a corner or a doorway. Now you might be like, okay, just by decreasing the time of me sitting and pre-aiming, what if after those 3 seconds he just pops up then? Let me ask you this question. How many times have you been sitting and pre-aiming and then that loop starts in your head, oh, should I move or should I not? And then he just happened to show up in the first few seconds this loop has started. It hasn't happened that many times because that's just not how Call of Duty works. See, the thing is, when you start only waiting like 3 seconds to move, you start building a rhythm, I should say. Which brings me to my next tip. You want to start catching a rhythm when you playing. Now what this means is you need to always be in some type of motion, always moving around the map. You don't want to just be sitting anywhere too long. Like every 5 seconds you're in a new area of the map. See, this is why when you watch your favorite COD YouTubers, you notice that they just don't ever get caught in this loop of COD timing and all that stuff. Well, you might be like, oh, that's because they reverse boost. It don't matter if you playing against bots or tryhards, COD timing always exists. But they just don't get caught in it because they always moving around the map. If you even watch some of my gameplays, you notice I'm always moving around the map too, unless I really need to start sitting. And we all know Gunston don't reverse boost. Moving around a lot is also good because say you just kill somebody and the enemy hear that and they like, okay, let me go check that out. So if you posted up pre-aiming, they gonna come through proceeding with caution, pre-aiming too around corners, they gonna find you and they could win the gunfight. But that whole little thing right there could be easily avoided by just moving around a lot, because this gonna throw the enemy completely off. They're gonna be like, oh, I just heard him on my left, but now he on my right and he just smoking my whole team up. And when they confused, they can't play correctly, they're gonna start dying themselves. And I don't want you to try to catch a rhythm. I want you to feel it and let it go to you. It's one of them things that you kind of just let happen. It's like breathing. You don't try to breathe, it just be happening. Let me show y'all what I'm saying look like. So I start off by pushing a spawn. I notice I see somebody in the back AFK, up 2 people. I collect them 2 kills. I run into this house right here. Somebody else, that's 3. Look, I keep moving. Notice how, look, I'm still moving. I ain't stopped moving yet. Look, another one. Now I stopped moving, but I reloaded and look right here. Right here, look, I stopped moving. Watch what happens. He slid in and instantly killed me. Now let's watch this next clip. Look, I get in this little truck. 1, 2, 3. Got 3 pieces right there. I run into the house, instantly start moving again, run up the stairs. I take a little reload break right here though, because sometimes you do got to take breaks like this. Run right here. He almost killed me. Not going for that. Another person right here. Kill him. Another one. Kill him. And then this, I didn't even see them right there. I ran into the house. Got another one. Got up, smoked him. Now notice how I was always moving and always fluent. There was never a moment where it felt just like a big pause. Only time I really stopped moving is when I got to the top of the stairs and I started reloading. Which, if you gotta pause sometimes and take a little break and calm down, then you should do that. But while I was reloading, I still felt that rhythm in me, because it's like a timer for how long you can stand still before it just started feeling a bit off. Stand still for like a few seconds, then get to moving again. But notice how in that first clip everything was smooth until I decided to stand still for too long. What I should have done is I should have just jumped out the window. I should have ran down the stairs. I shouldn't have sat right there because he probably had that little perk where you can see through the wall when you first spawn. And he saw me, so he instantly came to collect that kill. But there was another way I could have prevented that, because you can kind of use grenades or throwables to play into your rhythm, which happens to be my next tip. You want to use blast traps or grenades. And when I say grenades, I mean like Simtexes. But a frag grenade can work too. A frag grenade works into timing. Looking back at that first clip, if I would have had a blast trap right there by that door, that boy would have been gone. Of course, I probably would have been too because I was standing right there. But by me placing a blast trap right there, I would have knew, okay, it's time to run away or else I'm going to die to it too. So my thinking would have been way different. Like, okay, I don't have to worry about that door because I have a blast trap there. It's like kind of having two of you. One of me would have ran down the stairs. The other one would have been watching the doorway, because I just killed a few people while standing upstairs. So they instantly spawning back there. They'd be like, okay, it's time to go up here and get this dude up out. When they run through it, that's it. Blast trap. Same thing with a grenade. If I would have threw it at that door, I would have knew for a fact no one can come through. If they do, they're going to get past that nade. And Simtexes blow up pretty quickly. That's why I say use a Simtex and not a frag, because a frag you might have to cook it and that just, it's going to mess up the timing. But here's a way you can use a Simtex that can really help you. Let's go back to the scenario where you just pre-aiming the door for 5 hours. You like, man, I gotta move away, but I can't because he gonna come through that door and smoke me. But you got that Simtex in your back pocket. So now before you take your eyes off that little doorway or position wherever you was watching, you throw a little Simtex on the floor right there. After like the first or second beep, you look away and go about your business. Since you looked away on the second beep, by the time the third beat roll around, and let's say he shows up, then that grenade's blowing up right in front of his face. It's taking his skin off. But you might be like, oh, what if when I throw the nade and on that last beep, he so happily slides in and just shoots me so quickly and I die? I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do be dying quick in Call of Duty, but it's not gonna be that quick. If you really watch my gameplays, you're gonna notice that I love throwing that nade. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing I really use the grenade for, to get my enemies going certain places. I'm gonna look up at the map so I can see where my teammates are not at. That's when I go, the enemies must be right there, so let me throw a nade. In any other open lanes, I'm gonna watch myself. In this way, I'm making it to where there's only one place the enemies can come through and only one place I gotta really watch for real. And if no enemies there, that's an open lane for me to go straight into their base. And speaking of teammates, that brings me to my next tip. You wanna try not to be away from your teammates too much, because I just gave y'all a free game on how y'all can use y'all teammates and how y'all can use the map to coordinate and correspond with what you're doing. In my last video, I talked about how you can use the teammates to bait also. So if you using your teammates to bait people out, you won't have to pre-aim so much, because you're gonna know more of where the enemy is instead of trying to guess. Also, if your teammates are near you, say you get caught in that situation again where you pre-aim in the door, if you notice a teammate coming towards you, just hold that pre-aim till the teammate gets near you. Now you can look away hoping they gonna get into a gunfight. You gonna hear it, and then if the enemy happen to win, you gonna smoke him up, or the teammate might just take care of it. You never know. But let's be for real, that's not happening. Also, when you got teammates, you won't have to pre-aim as much anyways, because so many of them gonna be watching and occupying different lanes and lines of sight and all types of stuff. So being by your team just make your job a lot easier anyways. And who doesn't like to have things easier, right? In a lot of my videos, you might notice that I really don't have that many teammates around me because they just be distracting me, but also because I've acquired the skill to not need them. Well, I wouldn't say that, because sometimes they really do actually be saving me, but it's rare. Like, they start getting irritated when they just be flipping the spawns all the time, just messing up your rotations. Then you end up on the one side of the map with no teammates, you all alone, you out of nades, you lose rhythm because you just scared, and then you resort back to pre-aiming that doorway. So you might be like, what am I supposed to depend on now? And that's where this last and final tip is gonna come in. You need to have at least a decent level of movement. Now, I said decent. This don't mean you got to be moving all over the place like you be seeing on TikTok. You probably already have this decent level of movement, but just not using it. Let me explain something to y'all boys. When you got good movement, you always want to show it off and use it. Like, think of something you good at right now. Most of y'all gonna want to show that talent to at least one person, which means you want to use it as much as possible. And the same thing gonna apply with that movement. Now, once again, we're gonna go back to the scenario. You pre-aiming the door, 10 seconds later, you're like, okay, I'm gonna move off. But instead of just moving off and walking away like you normally do, or moving off and run away like you normally do, this time you're gonna run, jump, and slide away. Now, if you know anything about movement in Black Ops 6, when you do that jump slide, it gives you a boost and make you go a lot farther than usual. Now, all this means is when you start pre-aiming and run away, you gonna want to use some type of movement, because you done got so good at it to where you just can't even stop doing it, which means it's a habit. So if he show up when you look away, he ain't gonna hit nothing because your movement's so superior. He gonna have a real hard time killing you. So what I recommend you to do is level up your movement. I got a whole video, a whole guide teaching you exactly what to do. And if you already know basic movement, do it. It's all about the habit of it. Now, after implementing each of these tips, I can guarantee you that you're gonna struggle way less with COD timing. You will start to feel a lot more comfortable when playing the game. Because I know you might feel a little bit awkward, but you can say goodbye to that. If you have problems ranking up, raising your KD, or just feeling like the overall worst player in the whole game, all of that's gonna change now because you got your timing down. Them tryhards might even start finding it hard to play against you, because honestly, most of them don't know how to counter COD timing. All they know is, oh, have good movement, have good aim, have good map awareness. But I want you to go in my comment section right now and tell me how many people made a video on this. Not many, because they don't know y'all struggles, because they always reverse boosting, but you know I'm real and authentic. I don't reverse boost. I give y'all the real tips and tricks, the ones I used on myself, man, because after I learned this, everything changed for me. The same stuff used to happen, the same scenarios. That's why I bring these scenarios up in the video, because I know y'all struggles. I've been through them myself, and now that I know how to counter them, I share it with y'all. Because man, when I used to get a nuke when I first started playing COD, you would think I won a whole tournament or championship the way I was yelling. Like, it felt like I won $1 million. But now I can just get a nuke whenever I want, anytime I want, because I didn't use my own tricks. Now, if you interested in seeing daily Black Ops 6 tips and tricks that no other YouTuber is gonna tell you about, then you should subscribe to this channel, because I show y'all exactly how to do what I'm teaching, and even proof that I do it in regular lobbies. And if you feel like you need to come back to this video, then like the video. That way it's saved for later. Or if you're interested in learning 5 BO6 tricks that will change how you play forever, then click on this video right here.